I'm talking to Amit Gattani of Micron. Amit, can you tell us a little bit about Micron's focus in the Internet of Things?
Sure, Vince. As you know, Micron is a semiconductor company, and we focus on memory and storage semiconductors and solutions. And it touches just about everything that goes in Internet of Things, right? On embedded side, we are very much focused on connected cars and industrial aspect of things. A lot of our customers are really building the next generation products that are IoT enabled or IoT, going in the IoT type of deployments. On consumer side, a lot of the wearable technology, the whole focus around wearables and home automation. So our customers are very focused on that. That's kind of on the embedded side of the business, but we also play a very strong role on mobile platform as well as server and clouds and data center side of it. So really, and mobile phone acts as a hub for IoT for a lot of the consumer applications, and then the big data movement through the networks and back to the data centers is, everything touches devices that Micron enables or Micron participates
Well,
in.
yes, I guess you could explain to us. I mean, Micron is known by a lot of people as a memory solutions company. How does a memory solutions company fit in with all of these other companies operating in the IoT?
Yeah, so our customers tend to be the ones who are making the end products that go in IoT. However, the pace of innovation is changing very rapidly in this space, right? So customers want to discuss, understand the architecture, both the compute and the memory architecture that will make these devices actually more upgradable and interoperable in the future.
Yes.
So it really comes down to picking the right solution for both your compute and memory requirements. So we work very closely with our customers, whether they are automotive customers or industrial customers. For example, in machine to machine, we work with a lot of the customers to enable the machine to machine communication on making sure that they are picking the right solutions. They are picking the right solutions for longevity of the products. They're picking the right solutions on architectures which are going to be upgradable and follow through all the changes that may happen at the standards level, connectivity level, or for security aspects of the devices. So we follow very closely with our customers on those things.
So picking up on what you said there, you said that you're very active in both industrial and automotive markets. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yeah, one of the big focus for Micron has been very high quality and reliability of the products, which is very important for the industrial and automotive market. We are the leaders in automotive markets and industrial markets in providing memory and storage solutions. So the manufacturers understand the quality, reliability, and longevity that we enable, as well as the innovation that comes from Micron, the overall technology innovation. So they work with us very early on at their platform concept level.
Right.
To understand, hey, if they are thinking of a platform 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line, what are the right solutions that they need to be picking, how we fit in with the rest of the ecosystem providers or semiconductor providers in the ecosystem to make sure that these products are going to be the state of the art and be able to handle the processing that they are expecting down the line, right? In automotive, for example, there's just tremendous growth in amount of sensors that are going in automobiles, and the amount of data that they can gather and collect and has to be analyzed in real time to enable a lot of the autonomous driving features, right? And memory is a very important aspect of that.
I imagine that for any developer of IoT solutions, memory is a factor that has to be part of the plan.
Right. And the way the compute landscape is shifting is, right, 5 years back, you could say that memory is an afterthought after the processor. It's not that anymore, because it is becoming a more and more part of the system BOM, and hence you have to kind of really pay attention to it early on at an architectural choice and architectural design level. It affects your security, your longevity, your power consumption, all those things, right? So it's really something that you need to plan for and think early in your platform design.
So what would your advice be for embedded designers looking to develop products and solutions for the Internet of Things?
That's a great question, right? I mean, for embedded designers today, that landscape is shifting quite a bit. A few years back, these embedded solutions were just islands by themselves, right? They were not necessarily connected, and you could build them based on what's the functional spec you get, right? Moving forward in the Internet of Things type of a scenario, now these are connected products that may last a very long period of time, and you may have to do upgrades, field upgrades to these products. So you really need to think through what's the future functionality that you may be asked to enable on these products. What's the future interoperability standard that may come up, which you may have to comply to, right? So embedded designers really need to think about these products now as more of software-defined devices or software-defined things, which are more upgradable and changeable out in the future. So they need to think through what their hardware requirements are, memory and storage requirements are going to be, with which they can do very reliable OTA upgrades and do them in a secure fashion, so that they can make sure that these are compliant to your most current security standards.
And how big of an issue is security in the Internet of Things, Amit?
It's an issue that's getting a lot of attention past year or so, right? I mean, every month you see some new information in the media of how a car can be hacked or refrigerators can be hacked, right? So security is becoming a major dialogue in the industry. It's clearly an issue, and there are solutions in the industry that the OEMs need to understand and designers need to understand. And security is one of those things where it's a matter of the weakest link in the system, right? It's not about whether you have security at one place. The question is whether you have security everywhere, right? So you need to really think of security as security of the data that is stored, security of data that may be in motion, so your communication security, your code security, your firmware to application software, all security of all those things, and then security of your boot code. Is your device at the very basic level, is that going to have a secure boot? And then lastly, supply chain security is how do you validate that your device actually is coming from a supply chain that you can trust, right? Because a lot of, these days supply chains are extremely complex. So you really need to think through security from an end-to-end perspective.
It needs to be a priority from start to end.
Exactly. You need to make a priority early on in the design and think through end-to-end. It's not just, think of security at one level, but just across the board you have to think through.
Okay.
And that's where again Micron has some great solutions that Micron, especially for embedded designers, we have some great solutions that they can leverage.
And how will things pan out, Amit? Do you see everything being done in the cloud in the future?
That's a good visual thinking. Let's put it that way, right? No, I think cloud is a great thing, right? Because you can really process a lot of data there, and develop the analytics over the long period of time that make allow you to make better decisions on the end devices. But what you'll see is that the sensors that are going out in the world, they are capable of capturing a lot of data, right? And it may not be conceivable to just take everything to the cloud all the time. So, for example, a wind turbine can generate 10 terabytes of data a day with all the sensors that are wrapped around wind turbines these days, right? I mean, it's just not practical to take all that data. So we, as we work with our customers, we kind of put a focus on a hierarchical design approach, right? They need to think about what type of processing that can be done on the edge itself, what type of processing that will make sense to be just done on the edge, what can be done in the core of the network, and what can be done in the cloud, right? So really you have device level processing, the edge or the core level processing, and the cloud level processing. And for that, and these may be shifting boundaries as you develop better analytics. You may want to shift the boundaries, right? As the latency of the networks evolves and changes, you may want to shift the boundaries. So the designers need to think through how these things will evolve and what is the hardware and the memory budgets that they need to plan, or the storage budgets that they need to plan at each of these levels. Just getting everything to the cloud and putting it in kind of a dumb device may not be may be a good starting point, but may not be a solution that you may want to have many years out as you develop these. So.
Thank you, Amit. Very illuminating. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure.